This is Twit.
Samsung pulling another Amazon on Android. Samsung's developer conference started yesterday. 1,300 attendees. Samsung released 5 new SDKs for its devices. Smart TV, the Samsung Knox SDK, that's their security layer. Samsung Mobile SDK, so many TouchWiz SDKs in one package. And this is interesting, Kevin. I want to hear you explain your thesis in the article. But it's basically that Samsung is trying to build that sort of proprietary layer on top of Android that we talked about Google doing on our show last week.
Yeah, actually, my son ghost wrote that for me, so I couldn't say. No, I'm joking.
I like Kevin.
Yeah. So a lot of people, a lot of readers are saying that I'm going overboard here. But I'd hate to wait until Samsung has actually pulled this off and actually, really taken Android by the horns here. So that's why I kind of brought this up now. Yeah, like you said, I mean, they had 1,300 developers show up at their first developer conference. And I mean, there's no guarantee that Samsung's going to succeed here in building up, a whole new ecosystem just for their devices. But you can see all the signs are there. They've got the 5 new SDKs. There's 800 new APIs in the mobile SDK alone.
Wow.
And they sell, what did they say? They sold 2 TVs every second. So there's a whole nother screen there that they're trying to get developers to target. I mean, if I were Google, I'd at least be taking notice of what's going on here. I see this differently than what Amazon has done. I mentioned this in the article, that Amazon, basically they said, we're going to use Android, we're going to call it Fire OS, and we're not going to use any Google services, and Google's not going to get any benefit from it. So the difference here is that Google still gets some benefit as long as Samsung keeps going with Google services. But Samsung has S Voice, so they're not using Google Voice, or whatever the voice activation is actually called. They've got their own app store that's doesn't compare to Google Play Store now, but never know. So it amazes me that they had 1,800 pen-enabled apps created just when they put out the Samsung Galaxy Note. So I mean, Samsung's doing all the right things. Will it take anything away from Google? I don't know, but I think we should be watching.
Yeah, I wonder if the difference between what Amazon has done with the Kindle and potentially Samsung kind of going in that same direction. I wonder if the difference is that Amazon kind of came out of the gate not supporting Google and Google services. If Samsung was to suddenly to fill in the gaps with their own services and then suddenly, defy the Open Handset Alliance and, completely splinter it off into their own direction and bypass all of the Google apps, I wonder if that would really work. Because, I mean, so many of their users, whether Samsung Surfaces, and I can tell you this is the Galaxy Note 10.1 2014 edition, and the Google apps, even Gmail, are kind of hard to find in here. They really kind of go out of their way to make sure that you see their stuff before you see anything else. So, but they still give you that option. So it's still there as a user. You still have kind of come to know that you're going to find it on a Samsung product. If suddenly that went away, I'm not sure that would be the best solution for them, but maybe then they're banking on their solutions being as good, if not better, or at least good enough for the people that really buy into their ecosystem.
Yeah, and I think it's that good enough for the people who are buying. I mean, and that's the thing is when I think about Samsung seems to have the hardware and consumer value that Google covets. That Google wants to build with the Nexus line and stuff like that, but whether or not they have gotten as much traction, they haven't on Samsung, because Samsung's been around for a while. It's a trusted brand, that sort of thing. So, I mean, it's fascinating to see this develop and to see them kind of play both sides from the middle, but it's clear the direction they're going in, So
it's clear what they would like to do.
Yes, yeah.
Whether they get to the point to where they actually have the guts to pull the trigger and completely remove Google services, that'll be an interesting day if that happens.
Yeah.